All right. Hi, you guys. My name is Marika McKenzie. Today I will be presenting my topic, growing students with disabilities and multi-step equations. This is my proposal for my direct research project. Here's a little background on my reason. It's based off of the population that I have at the school that I teach at. We do have diverse cultures, races, and gender. Majority of our population has low income and has a very short supply of resources, and the students do have different responsibilities at home. Um, the situation during class time, students do pay attention. Although I do have those that are very bouncy, like to move around, like to get up. So they lose focus. Um, but with my assistance, they are able to solve the given math problems that I assign to them throughout the day. But when it comes to test time, that's where we have the most issues and they don't do as well as expected. So this is what I want to know. This is the question that I plan to look at. If adding morning tutoring or additional time in class um, and assist in the increase of would that assist in the increase of MAP scores? I do believe that having that those tutoring in the morning and even in the afternoons that bringing um, repetitive knowledge to those students will help to embed in their brain the material that we're trying to get them to withhold, versus it just being that short 1 hour class period time. They can get that additional time. All right, so students will participate in one of the tutoring sessions at least twice per week. We actually offer it Monday through Thursday at our school. We have multiple teachers that teach whole tutoring, so we will have the resources to provide to them for them to be able to, well, for us to be able to fulfill the need of those students. The teacher will form small groups and provide differentiated work for each student in their class based on their MAP scores. We want to make sure that our lessons do favor and lean towards what they're actually needing. The importance of this research is um, to research the problem further, that teachers are able to close the gaps. We want to be able to close those gaps, especially after COVID-19. I know that several students were not able to go to school. So that formed additional gaps that on top of the gaps that students already had. So we want to be able to close those gaps. Even if it's minor growth, it still will be considered growth. We want these students to grow and learn. All right, so just to go quickly over some literature review that I've researched. In the United States, teachers frequently diagnose students with learning disorders when they fail to make academic progress despite getting intensive support in small group and individualized settings. Despite their likelihood to struggle with math and academic work in general, these students have shown success in a number of elementary research studies and in certain secondary research studies. So research shows that using visual aids like diagrams and manipulatives when teaching these students at the basic level is a successful educational strategy. So in my class, I have several visual aids, several anchor charts that are hanging around so that they're able to look at it each time they're in the class, and this helps to commit to their memory the more they see it. And I also allow them to use these anchor charts while performing assignments. I do also use manipulatives so that the students are actually able to touch and have hands on when moving things about. I do know that students with learning disorders frequently struggle with anxiety, and this worry can make many of the students' memory and processing issues worse. So, with that being said, I just try to form a safe, friendly, welcoming classroom environment to ease that anxiety so that they are more open and welcome to learning. Um, People with learning disabilities frequently do poorly in mathematics and reading, which leads to higher rates of school dropouts and lower rates of college enrollment than people without severe learning disabilities. And we want to put an end to that because these students are our future. We want them to be able to learn. We want them to be able to know. So again, to go back to that welcoming and stress-free classroom environment being provided to these students. Research also indicates that students with SLD frequently feel stigmatized as a result of their diagnosis, which may lead to stereotype threat. Even if the occurrence of stereotype threat is in this population has not yet been explored. Research shows that students with specific learning disorders reported greater anxiety. If you notice here, anxiety has popped up a lot. So, this is why it is very important for the relationship of students and teachers. And that, again, I can't stress enough that welcoming, stress-free classroom environment to reduce the anxiety that students have when walking into school. They need to know that if they don't know an answer, as long as they're trying, and just to have that backup support of the teacher. Students who struggle with learning and attention problems frequently feel like failures, don't fit in with their friends, and are bullied a lot, which raises the possibility of misbehavior and them being absent. I do notice that within some of the students that I teach. They do feel like they don't fit in. They notice that they are in small group, and it does cause behavior issue because they are constantly trying to get out of work. They tend to not want to come to school because they don't like the not knowing portion. When struggling kids grow to dislike going to school, they could turn to staying at home for comfort. These absences may be a warning indication for parents and teachers that a kid may be struggling with attention and learning problems. Ways this problem has been researched: descriptive, relational, experimental, qualitative research has all been done on this issue. All designs are frequently used in special education. Each design is briefly discussed along with an example study that uses it. Interventions researchers have used. Interventions that's been used for students with disabilities with multi-step equations are visual and auditory examples. Do math problems on graph paper to keep the numbers in line. Now, I do with my students, I have them do it on graph paper. Those little boxes help them keep it in line, and they're able to see what number goes with what. The use of manipulators and technologies such as tape recorders or calculators, to name a few, also helps really well with the students in them doing multi-step equations. Okay, I've went over a few of them already. By speaking about the graph paper, the calculators, due to the fact that we're not measuring them adding or subtracting, multiplying or dividing integers, the use of a calculator um, can be allowed on certain standards, so we do allow those. What challenges does a student with a learning disability face while solving multi-step equations, and what supports would a teacher be able to provide to overcome those challenges? This is the research question that I will be focusing on. I will also be doing a single case, non-reversible design study across multiple participants who do not perform on grade level. Non-reversible dependent variables are not truly permanent, but these changes may be likely to maintain the absence of an intervention condition. During the intervention, I will introduce the lesson by using interactive Desmos. That's an interactive program where students will be able to um, form their own synopsis of what they will be learning. Students will be able to explore different parts of the lesson prior to actually completing practice, to activate prior knowledge, and to think of real world experiences. Students will complete graphic organizers with me, the teacher. Students will complete guided practice. This is to get that repetitive practice. Students will also attempt to complete practice problems as I walk around the classroom to observe their work and correct any misconceptions that they may have. The dependent variable will be the scores on quizzes taken on every Friday, consisting of both multiple choice and short answer questions. The goal for the student is to score at least a 3 out of 5 in the assessment. I want to be able to make sure that we have consistent growth from what we've been learning. And if not, I will be able to make those corrections of any misconceptions or form some more differentiated work and pull more small groups. These are all the resources that I have used in order to come up with reasons and backgrounds as to why some students may be struggling with using multi-step equations. That is all I have. I hope you enjoyed my presentation, and you guys have a great day.